It's not RC. Adventures in Radio Control.
Hey folks, if you've been following my videos, you've probably noticed that I put together this fun little airboat recently. This thing is really cool, it runs really great, I'm quite pleased with it. I want to talk about that just for a sec. It's made mostly out of Dollar Tree foam board. This stuff comes from the Dollar Tree, and being from the Dollar Tree, it's $1 a sheet, which is just an insane price. You really can't beat that for this sort of stuff. It's I don't know exactly what type of foam it is. It's got paper on both sides, but you can peel the paper off really easily if you don't need the paper on there. I don't know, it's just a really good product. I think it's like almost 5 millimeters. It's 4.7 millimeters thick, so it's a pretty good thickness, and you can make lots of fun RC stuff out of it. Yeah, here's the construction. You can see working on another slightly longer hull for my airboat here. There's a little bit of plywood in there, but basically it's just all the foam board just hot glued together, and that's, I don't know, I found it just being a really fun material to work with. There is a downside to it though. Obviously it's styrofoam, it's soft, so I fiberglassed the whole thing, you know, thinking that'll make it nice and strong. Well, that worked to a point. As you can see here, I got all sorts of like dings in my fiberglass. I don't think I did a pretty good job. Don't think I did a good job there. It's really wasn't beefy enough. I need heavier. I think it was like 1.5 or 2 ounce fiberglass, which really isn't up to the abuse this thing takes when it's out there. So I'm going to do another job of fiberglassing it. This time using this big heavy stuff I found at the Home Depot. I think it's like 6 or 7 ounce. Yeah, it doesn't actually say, of course, but it feels like good heavy cloth. But I wanted to talk a little bit about the resin I'm going to use. So here's the usual sort of stuff I use, the usual resin. Been using this epoxy finishing resin. This stuff's great. You can pretty much just slap it right on the glass. It's already thin, so it, you know, you don't have to thin it, and that stuff's great. It's got a 4-hour, I guess, cure time, so you got plenty of time to mess around with it. I don't know, you can use regular epoxy or whatever resin. I found this big industrial size can of Bondo fiberglass resin. That works good. Thin it down with a little denatured alcohol, so it becomes as thin as the finishing resin, and that works great. But I've heard a lot about this stuff. This is Minwax Polycrylic, protective finish, I guess. Basically it's just a sort of clear varnish, but a lot of people have been trying this out, using this on their fiberglass instead, and apparently they had pretty good results. I'm a little skeptical though, so I want to run some tests on this stuff and see how this stuff compares to this stuff. So got a couple of strips of the foam board here. Taking the paper off one side. That's probably what I'd do if I was going to fiberglass it, so I would take the paper off and fiberglass the non-papered side. But I got a couple of strips of that. We're going to fiberglass, one with the Minwax, one with probably epoxy. We'll also, just for the hell of it, got some balsa wood strips here, same dimensions. And the plan is we'll set those up on the desk and, you know, do one of these sort of failure tests and see what it takes to actually break this stuff.
I videoed a whole bunch of stuff about me adding the fiberglass to the samples and putting the resin on and all that stuff, but it was really long-winded and boring, and we're just going to skip through that. I also decided to prepare a set of samples using the epoxy too, just for the heck of it.
Straighten that out, nice and even. Tell you what, it smells better already. But everything is all cured and ready to go, so here's our test samples. So let's see what we ended up with. Over here we have the Bondo. That looks pretty good. I mean, it's pretty much what I expected. Fiberglass with resin on it, on the wood, good stuff. The epoxy finishing resin, same thing. It's a good strong sample. That's definitely workable. Look what the polycrylic did to the balsa wood though. Oof. It like whooped the heck out of it. So that's a bit of a yeah. I mean, it's definitely made a nice, good, strong surface. It's definitely workable, but it does that to balsa wood. Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to use that on balsa wood. Speaking of problems, yeah, the Bondo fiberglass resin ate the heck out of the foam board. Ugh, look at that. That's just absolutely useless. It just ate that right up. So that doesn't work. It also reeks really bad, the Bondo does. If you don't have a ventilated area, it will make you woozy as all hell. So, not crazy about the Bondo stuff. Epoxy is expected. I tried this on my previous airboat hull, and yeah, it produces a nice fiberglass finish. Makes the foam board much stronger. And interestingly, the Minwax Polycrylic seems to do the same. It's didn't warp this because I guess the foam doesn't warp, but this looks really good too. So I think for foam, the polycrylic is definitely an option. Bondo, stay away from foam. Polycrylic on the balsa wood, not so good. So interesting results. Kind of glad I tested that all out, especially the Bondo. If I put that on my hull, yeah, goodbye airboat. So that's that. Okay, this is my scientific load test. Basically, I got my sample piece here. This is a piece of balsa wood with the Bondo fiberglass on it. Got that clamped to my desk. And the idea is we're going to put a load on that from the end. You see, I've got this very good jack-o'-lantern tub here. Trick-or-treater thing. So we're going to clamp that onto the end here. Let's see here. Hopefully it'll support this weight. Okay. And we're going to add water and see when she fails. So here we go. I'd call that a fail. Okay, so that didn't take much. Sort of bent rather than snapping, which is interesting. So, let's see here. Yeah, it failed up here at the joint, which makes sense. Okay. So, now we just weigh this. And then we can compare that to the other samples and maybe do some science here. So. Okay, yeah, see why she failed there. So, expect the others will fail on that same point. So let's try the next piece. Set that up for you. Okay, this is the epoxy finishing resin. Let's see how that does. Oh boy. Okay. Adding the water. There she goes. Okay, next is the polycrylic. I don't know if this is even going to support the weight. Well, actually, it feels pretty good so far. That's not bad, actually. It feels pretty good. Alright, let's see how much water she'll take. Wow. And we're touching the floor. It actually didn't. It's just bending, it's not actually breaking. And I think that's my failure point when she hits the floor, so... Wow, that's actually pretty impressive. That seems like it's the best out of all of them. Yeah, I don't think that even cracked it. Well, yeah, okay, it did actually fail there, as the balsa wood's gone. I got a feeling that was the best one. I'll have the results in a minute. I'll weigh this one. Alright, we're going to try the foam board next. This one's kind of cheating because it's warped up, but I don't expect much out of this. I also don't think this will support the weight, so I'm going to move this down 50%, and we're going to put it from here instead of all the way at the tip, so should still get good data, but let's see how that feels. Pretty good. Ah. Yeah, okay, that already failed. Interesting. Yeah, I don't know if we're going to be able to test this the same way. Okay, well that failed. Alright, let's try that with the epoxy, see if that holds up any better. Hopefully she'll take the weight of my container. No, that's already failed. Okay, well, okay, polycrylic. Let's give that a whirl. Yeah. Okay, well, at least we got the balsa wood tests. That'll probably tell us something. Okay, that's that test done. So we have a winner. Apparently, the Minwax Polycrylic is the strongest. The Bondo comes in a second, and interestingly, the epoxy I would have said might have been the best is actually the worst. So interesting results. Okay, I wanted to do another test here. I wanted to get a feel for just sort of the resistance against shoving my thumb into this stuff. I'm guessing this stuff is going to be the best because it's already flat as a pancake. So yeah, I really can't. That's pretty solid. So, but I'm never going to use that. That's junk. It's epoxy. So I'm going to try sticking my thumb into this, get a feel for it. Sort of. Deflecting a bit. I guess you can't really see in this shot, but take my word for it. But yeah, it's sort of not bad. It's a bit spongy, which makes sense. This is foam, but feels pretty tough. The polycrylic feels here. Well, that's actually really easy to shove my thumb into. That's not resisting pressure at all, so. That's interesting. Okay, so for like ding protection, I don't know how good this is. It's flexible, I guess, is one thing I could say. It's not brittle like the fiberglass that just resists and it cracks. Whereas this seems to just flex a bit. So don't know. Not a very good test, but interesting. And another thought is how well this stuff sends. Not even gonna try that stuff. I wanted to get a feel for it. It's sand off pretty nice. Used this epoxy before, and it's pretty good stuff. Sanded down kind of nicely. I'm gonna go with the polycrylic. Seems to sand pretty nicely too. Alright, well, I wouldn't have a problem sanding either of those. That might work. This is the smack it with the hammer test. Yeah, that's not going to really tell me anything. Well, it dents. Yep. And that stuff dents too. Okay, well, that really didn't prove anything, but that's fun. We like beating things with hammers. So I think I like the polycrylic. I'm curious about how well it'll cover though. Obviously this has got one coat and there's a pretty decent texture on this. You know, if I painted that right now you would see the weave in the cloth, and that wouldn't look very pretty. So I figure we're going to put a few more layers on here and see how many coats of this stuff it takes to actually make that weave go away. So the other nice thing about this is it's water based, so you know, unlike the epoxy resins, I can use a paintbrush and it's not a one-time use. I should be able to clean this up no problem and reuse it, so that's kind of cool. Actually save me a couple of bucks every time I want to put a coat on, you know. So put this on pretty thick. Alright, so that's now got 2 coats on it. This is fast drying too, which is nice, so theoretically I can come back in a little while and see how we're doing. Put the next coat on, and shouldn't take me all day long to get a nice finish built up. So alright, I'll come back in a bit and see how that's doing. Yeah, while we wait for that to dry, the other method I found for filling in the weave on fiberglass is a good old spackling here. Get this stuff at Home Depot too. And this stuff, obviously, it's designed to fill in stuff, textures and stuff. It's for drywall, I guess. But it's a bit thick right out of the tub. So what I like to do is, just gonna try a little bit of this, really a whole lot. What I like to do is thin it down with a little bit of water. Just a tiny bit. Mix that up. And when it's sort of like somewhere between toothpaste and maybe yogurt, I don't know. A little bit of thickness. That's pretty good there. So I'm just going to brush this on my my sample here. That's just one coat. We'll let that dry. Okay, it's been a little while. Well, now we got 2 coats of the Minwax Polycrylic on here now. It's still got some texture on there, so I'm going to put another coat on that. My spackling is dried though, so that's looking good. So I'm just going to give that a quick sand here. Squeeze that off. And that should fill the grain really nicely. I'm just curious if the polycrylic will play nice with the spackling. I know a lot of water-based stuff, it kind of melts the spackling and turns it back into paste, so interested to see what it does here. So anyway, that's a bit smoother. So I'm going to sand this a bit, get that ready for the next coat. So this will be the 3rd coat on here now. Goes on pretty nice, I must admit. I could definitely I could get used to working with this. It doesn't smell bad, easy cleanup. Alright, let's see what it does to the spackling here, see if it turns it back into mush or not. It's interesting, it kind of made it look sort of transparent. Alright, let's put a coat on here. Let's put a light coat to start with. And I'm not going to brush it around too much because I don't want to disturb it. Okay. Alright, I'll let that set up. Okay, next coat's dry. This feels pretty good now. Still got a lot of texture on there though. It's kind of tough to see in this light. But yeah, it's not really filling in the weave. It's sort of, you know, making bumps over the thing. So yeah, but stuff with a speckle on it though, that feels really smooth now. I think that might actually be a viable way. It hasn't done anything weird with the spackling, so I think this might be the way I'm going to go. Is I'm going to use this. I'm going to use the spackling here to fill the weave in, and then put a couple of coats of this on, of the Minwax on there. And I think we might have a pretty durable finish here. That might work. All right, this is looking pretty good. Spray a little primer on there. See how she takes that. See if she takes the paint pretty good. Going on pretty all right. Okay, I think I'm done with this silly experiment. So what did I learn here? The polycrylic with the with a little bit of spackling, and I just primed this stuff. Came out really nice. It's definitely a workable finish. So I think that's what I'm going to use for my airboat here. Use that for that. Some of the other stuff, the Z-epoxy, still really good stuff. I'd use that on just about anything. It's a bit expensive though. The Bondo stuff, going to keep it away from foam. That's no good. I don't know, it was an interesting test. I don't know how scientific or accurate it was, but it was fun to do, and I think I learned something out of there. So that's that. Anyway, thanks for watching. Please subscribe, all that good stuff. See you next time.